because we want to give back. We had opportunities, people helped us along the way. And I like to tell people, I was raised by a single mom, and my brother and I and our father deserted us when I was 3 years old, and she was a VA nurse, a lifelong Veterans Hospital nurse, and I volunteered at the VA, and actually in the 60s took care of veterans of the Spanish-American War. They were very old then, but a lot of World War I vets and the World War II vets were fairly young then. The Korean vets were even younger, but I saw the sacrifices that they made, and I remember the ball coaches that coached me, and the scout leaders, and the people at church, and there was always somebody, I guess then there just weren't too many kids that didn't have fathers. Now it's all too many. But that's what motivates me to serve, is that when I grew up, and I was a benefit of, I'm a product of Dallas schools, but I was able to work my way through college and had opportunities, and I want that for my kids and for my grandkids and these little kids here. I want them to have the same opportunities. That sounds a little corny, perhaps, but it's absolutely true, because we're being threatened in many ways, and I think that's important. Ronald Reagan mentioned in the '64 Goldwater speech, he asked, will history look back and ask that why those who had the most to lose did the least? And I think that the more you have it, that you should be able to give your abilities. So I was blessed to go to medical school and have that opportunity, served in the public health service, and then served on the school board, the MHMR board in Hunt County, saw people like Congressman Hall and other people serving. And I said, I want to make a difference. I want to use my expertise and give back. And my hat's off to all of you who are here tonight that aren't elected, that are willing to put your name in there and do the miles and take sometimes the abuse and the criticism, but you're willing to be out there and say that I want to give back too. And the obligation is not to win, because not everybody wins elections. The obligation is to be willing to serve. You do your best, and that's our system. And as Commissioner Staples said, whoever wins these primary races, we get behind them, because there's a lot at stake. There's the House of Representatives, the Texas House is 77 Republicans. Redistricting is coming up, and I can tell you for this area that's critical, because a lot of the battles we have are urban-rural, and you need someone like me and others that are going to represent the rural areas. But we have a budget to deal with. We're going to have a shortfall. In '03, when Senator Staples sat next to me, we had a $10 billion deficit. Our choice was to raise taxes, increase spending, or to make painful cuts. We made those cuts. We spent less general revenue. We did that in the last session. The result of that is that we have $8 billion in the bank. We spent less general revenue. We did what Washington ought to do, and I'm very, very proud of that. And I can go on, and it's going to be a long night, but we've done tort reform. We've protected the Second Amendment. We've protected the unborn and the elderly. That's part of the pro-life movement. And I passed a bill in the Senate in the last session, an end-of-life bill that didn't get through the House, but we'll keep working on that. I passed Jessica's law, and actually was the one that wrote it, which gave a 25-year minimum sentence, no probation, no parole, no deferred adjudication. If you rape a child 13 or under, and you go to jail for 25 years, period. Second offense was the death penalty, option for the death penalty. The Supreme Court threw that out, but now it's life without parole. But we have a lot more to do with eminent domain and with border issues and education and transportation. And we don't always agree on those approaches because people have different ideas of how we should do that. But I promise you to study the issues, listen to you. I can list a long list of endorsements such as the NRA and the TSRA and the pro-life groups and the police and the firefighters, the Farm Bureau, the Texas Association of Business. But the most important endorsement I get on March 2nd is your vote to say that you want me to serve another term. So I ask for your vote. I've worked as hard as I can, and I'll keep on working hard for you. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, Senator Deuell. Let's come on. Well, maybe that solved that problem. Thank you very much, Senator Deuell. We appreciate that. Hopkins County, you know, we're pretty fortunate. We have a Republican congressman. We're overrepresented in Washington by a Republican. And I think that is one of the best things that's happened in this county politically in the past decade. I am not going to take a whole lot of time because we've got a lot to do tonight. But I want to tell you that we are well represented by a man who understands us, is part of us, and has been a conservative for us here and in Washington, and fights for us and does the things that we need to get done. It's my honor to present to you your Congressman Ralph Hall.
You know, I hate to follow Todd Staples. I see him as the governor one of these days. You know, all these other high officials are elbowing around for position. He's out there waiting. I've worked with him. He's been in part of my geographical district, and he's great to work with. He cares. I think he's a comer. He cares about what he's doing. And Doc, you're a good doctor, doggone good senator, and one terrific friend. And I thank you and your wife for everything you've done except one. And I'm about half mad tonight. You know, can't get back to Washington. Just want to get back up there so bad. You're not getting hurt. They're frozen out. And I hope this will put a stop to some of that silly global warming that they keep talking about. I'm more afraid of global freezing. Tell you something else I'm a little sick of. I'm sick of a president blaming everything on the past president. And I don't know what I think of a president that can't call a terrorist a terrorist. That's just sick, isn't it? And don't know where they belong down there in Guantanamo, where they've been. And they ought to be there. We don't need them in New York. And give them a fair trial. I'm willing to give them a trial. Yes. By God. And for all these that would bomb and fly into our building, our airplanes with our people and kill our folks, murder our folks, they don't have any constitutional rights. And I'll tell you what, I tapped the phone to every one of them as quick as they hit this ground. We got to start putting this country first. You know, there's a great president one time had a Monroe doctrine. It said, hands off this hemisphere. I say hands on this hemisphere. Let's make those people that have gone offshore to get cheap labor or to deal with China somewhere, let's make them come back, hands on America, and let us quit giving them the tax breaks they get for leaving us. Yeah. Those are some of the things that can be. We have to get stuff with these people. I think, too, I have to say a word or so about all those good people that came to D.C. when we had the 1,250,000 honorable men up there proving that freedom works. I don't know how many of you, hold up your hand who were up there. I saw a good many from Sulphur Springs there. And I was proud of them. I was proud of them because there was no elbowing. And I think it's the greatest aggregation of Americans in the history of our country. There because they cared and because they were sick of some things. They were fed up with some things. And they say they want their country back. And I agree with them. I would urge them one thing, though. We first need to get the floor back where we can handle some of those things that the law is putting on. If we can get the floor back, we can stop and slow down some of those things before he learns what a zillion is. I voted this last year. We lost a vote because the House outvoted 40 votes in the House on anything that comes up. And they passed a bill to put an additional $1.9 trillion, I think, on our debt. And it's on this little guy right here that's sitting in front of me here. They're the ones. And my grandchildren, the ones I thought about as I took the floor there and argued against it in vain.